Hey, this Omar, and on here right quick, recapping the Monday Night Football game from last night, and my thoughts on it was, uh, San Fran defense legit. Everybody saw from week one. They gonna make it hard for whoever play them. Your offense is gonna look real trashy that particular week, even if you got a good offense. So you look at the Rams, you just go off the Rams. Matt Stafford, he threw 32 times. Well, I mean, he had 32 completions, 48 times. He attempted 254 yards, zero touchdowns, and one interceptions. So even with like kind of playing catch up for most of the night, like they can't get their offense and what's the problem is everybody seeing it and they know it. If you got any, what I'm saying, if you paying attention to football, they missing the big man, the tackle from last year, and you could see, and then they been battling injuries, and so they really don't got much depth on the line. And you can see with the running attack, they only had 18 carries, 57 yards. With them, that's a recipe for L every week. Last week Cam Akers looked pretty good, versus the Cardinals, right? He looked pretty good. And this week he only got eight touches, 13 yards, what I'm saying? Like non-effective. And then Henderson, he ain't do no better. He had 7 carries, 27 yards. So if they one of the teams, if they don't have that balance, they really is like they're easier to defend. And then just even going on the passing game, it's like they not gonna beat nobody the same way like they did last year. Last year with Cooper Kupp, he was getting all them targets and all them big plays. They kind of like every defense is kind of like sitting down on them, making sure where okay, if you just gonna do that, we're gonna make you like work your way up the field slow. And that wasn't their offense last year, you know what I'm saying? And he had 19 targets, 14 receptions, 122 yards, no touchdown. And so you can live with that. If he only did 122 and then, everybody else you kind of making them work. Higbee, he got his targets, 14 targets, 10 receptions, 73 yards, scored Ronet, yeah, I think I said his name right, but he had 3 targets for two receptions for 33 yards. And like Allen Robinson, he been a non-factor all year, and they was busy saying like OBJ, he ain't really, it seemed like he kind of got a better groove once the season progressed last year, because he did have like how I think Robinson is, where you trying to fit your way into the offense. And so when when OBJ for most of last year, he really didn't have no wild plays really until the playoffs. And so, because most weeks he was on everybody's even number 2 or number 3, you know what I'm saying, depending on the week. So, Skowronek, he really hasn't make that leap to where people gotta really respect them like a true second option. So everybody's just like, yeah, we just gonna just be all up on Kupp. And then, like I said, Kupp, you kind of play Kupp just the way some teams are playing the Raiders with Devontae Adams, where you can let Adams, kind of get off, but as long as you slow Waller and everybody else down, you know what I'm saying, you like your chances or whatever. It just didn't happen this week. But usually that's how you play. The number one, you just sit on him and then see if they got, they going to expand on that playbook. So they really one-dimensional, last night the defense ain't do nothing, no sacks, no interceptions. And so, they gonna have a hard time winning games like unless they facing a team, especially if they facing the physical teams, a team like the 49ers, and then they gonna play them in the next 3 weeks, or like I know they play them again, within the month. So it's like they got a lot of things to work out, but I don't know because of that line. If you have that line issue, usually that's a that's something that you just gonna have to deal with the whole year. Now, I mean, surprisingly, last year the Bengals was able to overcome it, but usually if you got a terrible old line, it's gonna make you gonna have problems all year on the offense and whatnot. So you flip over the 49ers. Now 49ers, they kind of had their recipe, as far as how they want to win the game. They would have wanted to run the ball a little more. Jeff Wilson, he had 18 carries, 74 yards, 1 touchdown, which was that big 32-yarder. But aside from that, they didn't really run the ball too effectively. They only had, what, you take the 32 away from that, that's like 50 yards, you know what I'm saying, on the 22 carries. Right? Hold on. 52. Yeah, nah, on 21 carries. So 21 carries had 52 yards. So I mean, that really ain't do shit. So Rams kind of did their job as far as like stopping the run. But, I guess it was just they made more explosive plays. You had Debo do his thing with that long touchdown reception and whatnot. And and he only worked 6 receptions, a buck 15 on 7 targets. That's a cool day for him. Ayuku, he only had 4 for 37. And what's probably scary about this offense is Kittle, since they still working him back slow into the offense. He only had 2 receptions for 24 yards. So as he get his legs back on them, their offense probably gonna have more big play capability. And then, regardless on what people say about Jimmy Garoppolo, he ain't the most mobile, but one thing about him is, he play good on them primetime games. He play good against top tier teams. And I mean, he played within himself. He don't be out of character and stuff like that. And he fits the system. To be honest, I thought he fit the system better than Trey Lance. And even though Trey Lance probably got more upside, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, just with the team they have now, make them more of a threat in the NFC especially. And so you go ahead on the defense, they had got 2 fumble recoveries. They had 7 sacks, 1 interception. So it's like, the defense was just doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? They like, and then they did it with damn, what's the name? The all pro dude. Shit, I can't remember his name. But his ass got hurt early, and they still was cutting through their line. So the Rams got some serious problems. You know what I'm saying? So the 49ers definitely, even though they 2-2, they one of the top tier teams in the NFC. Along with the you put the Eagles up there, the Eagles, and then Green Bay, and Minnesota. I think Minnesota record gonna even out the way they gonna make the playoffs, and then whoever come out the NFC South, probably Tom Brady and them. But San Fran, even though with 2 losses, they definitely a top 10 overall team in the whole league. And so, yeah, that's just my quick thoughts on the game last night. All right, thanks for listening.